Hello, welcome to Local Anaesthetic Podcast, the most trusted name in local news. My name is Alex, and joining us as always via Skype is Rob. How you doing there, Rob?
Hello, folks. Yes, I'm not too bad at all.
Good to hear it. This is episode 284 now, for those of you who are keeping count. We are recording for the fastidious amongst you on the 21st of August, which is a Wednesday. And I did say last week, Rob, that my birthday was encroaching, and that milestone has been and gone.
That's right, Alex. And as a result of that, I actually went on to our social media and asked if anyone wants to give you any birthday wishes to post them, and I can relay them to you. And I'm thrilled to say they've come in thick and fast, Al.
Have they?
Kind of.
How many?
I mean, yeah. Well, once I've got rid of, once I've managed to weed out the strangely abusive messages,
ones, yeah.
There was only 2 left.
Okay, and what were they?
So, the first one's from Steve, who says, "Hey Alex, hope you have a great birthday. Much manly, appropriate love, Steve."
Okay, thanks, Steve. Much manly love back.
Yeah, and there was a kiss as well, just to say.
Well, that ruined it. But.
Then Amy says, happy birthday, old man.
Oh, right, okay. Well, yes, brilliant. Yeah, haha, all the fun of the fair.
I mean, it was nice to see you on Sunday, though. Yeah,
it was. We had I had a 40th birthday birthday gathering sort of thing, and it was very nice. It's sort of I still find it surreal. I do find it surreal that I'm now 40, because when I was 39, I could still say, I was in my 30s. I can't do that anymore. I mean, really, Rob, this is just a slow now decline to death. I mean, which, to be fair, after you're born is the general pattern of things. But I didn't say this in my speech, by the way. I just should clarify that. Maybe I should have.
Well, I mean, everyone would appreciate it. I think we all know it's one of those facts that no one likes to admit. But as you rightly say, death is the only inevitability in life.
Right. That, Rob, and that there will always be another episode of Local Anaesthetic Podcast for people to listen to.
Well, I mean, that's a lie as well. Yeah, I mean, because...
Well, if we ever have children, Rob, maybe if we both have sons, they can continue on the tradition. Maybe we make it a stipulation. They have to carry on the family business. That would be a great idea.
Right, so you can live under this roof, but you have to continue the podcast.
Yeah. I don't think that's unreasonable.
No.
Rob, is there any news?
Oh, no.
Good. So we can just get on with it.
Yes.
Now, Rob, this story is from Sky News, but was also reported in the Wales Online. I mean, it is a Welsh-related story. But I have this version just because it was a bit better, and then I have an update from the Wales Online. And this is by Emily Mee, news reporter from the 17th of August. I'm sure you probably saw this story. I don't know if you did. The headline is, "Anti-sex toilets will soak users with water jets and sound alarm." Did you hear about this?
I did hear about this, yes. Yeah.
Now, basically, the new loos in the Welsh town of Porthcawl are also designed to prevent antisocial behaviour such as vandalism and drug trafficking. Now, Rob, when I last went to Dorset a couple of weeks ago to see my parents down there, we drove to this area called Keyhaven, where there's this incredible pub. It's called the Beach House. Actually, I'll give them a free plug. I'll recommend it. It's absolutely stunning venue and gorgeous food. But anyway, the point is, Rob, there's a parking in Keyhaven proper, which I can't remember what castle it overlooks, but there is some castle down there that Henry VIII built. There's a big car park, and adjacent to that car park are these public lavatories, which are the most stunning lavatories I've ever been into. Apparently they're Swedish designed, I believe, or maybe it was Danish. I can't remember what. Right. They're very sizable. They're individual, sturdy doors, sturdy lock. They're brick. I mean, they're proper. These are like, it's like a series of outbuildings, and you go in and everything is sort of touch. So you touch this for the hair, for the hand dryer. You touch this for the soap. You touch this for whatever. You'd have to kind of see it to know what I mean. A very, very clean, lovely place. Those toilets, I recommend them highly. But what I did notice is that there was first of all, there was a small receptacle in the wall that could really have only been there for blades. Oh, I think it said
Right.
underneath blades, actually. Yes, it did. And then above that was a sort of small sort of flap disposable thing that had a picture of a syringe on it. And I just thought, this is... So these are only for what? This is for blades and heroin needles.
Yeah. What's your problem with that, Al?
It's the fact that it's so brazenly, I don't know, I guess I understand why, but at the same time, it almost seems to condone it.
I mean, to be honest, Al, let's be fair. When you're on a trip to the British seaside, who doesn't instantly thinking of scoring some skag, as the locals call it, and shooting up on the beach whilst enjoying a can of Stella?
Absolutely, all right, Rob. That's quite a picture you paint, and Face of Strange might well be listening.
Oh yeah,
now, Rob. I honestly believe that once that little flap on that receptacle with the syringe, with the sort of symbol of a syringe on it, once that is opened, inside that, what I can only assume is sort of like a chute or something, should be, Rob, the long arm of the law. There should be a back to those toilets, a hidden compartment with a police officer inside, and once you open that and put a syringe in, he just grabs your hand, puts a handcuff around it, the police van pulls up round the back, takes you down the local Nick, Rob, because that's the only way to stamp this out, isn't it?
So you're recommending that a poor police officer is encased in the walls of not a portable toilet, but a freestanding toilet to arrest low-level drug users?
To be fair, it's probably an improvement on their current sort of working conditions.
Well, yeah.
Anyway, right, listen. A seaside town, Rob, is planning to install public toilets that will stop sexual activity by spraying amorous occupants with water and sounding an alarm. Wouldn't this be more effective if they were sprayed with shit?
So you're suggesting that the contents of the toilet bowl then erupt in some sort of fecal fountain over the amorous couple?
Can I just say Fecal Fountain is a very good name for a band?
Thank you.
Although we already had Fecal Matter, didn't we? Yeah.
Yeah.
The new loos in the Welsh town of Porthcawl are also designed to prevent antisocial behaviour such as vandalism and drug taking. So they don't say how they are designed to prevent antisocial behaviour. Do you think like there's a speaker in there and it just, when you're in there, it just gives speeches about being a good citizen, obeying the rules, that kind of thing?
Quite possibly, yeah. Just relaying the speeches of Boris Johnson as Home Secretary. Home Secretary? Foreign? No, hang on. Was he Home Secretary?
He wasn't Home Secretary, he was Foreign Secretary. But Rob, this was their idea, right? That the toilets would have weight-sensitive floors to make sure only one person is using each cubicle at a time. Can you see the flaw in that logic?
Yeah, because surely... Is that not slightly... what's the word? Sizist? Because surely if there's a person who may be suffering the effects of obesity, there's a good possibility they could have an unexpected shower.
Well, that and the other huge flaw in it, as far as I'm concerned, is that I probably weigh double what an 8-year-old weighs, or probably more than that. They didn't factor in children into this.
No, that's
right?
true.
And all of that. And there will be people that weigh double what I do. Exactly. It doesn't make sense. The water jets will also be used to prevent smoking and drug taking. It doesn't say how. And the walls and floors will be resistant to graffiti. Planning documents for the facilities say rough sleepers will be deterred by a time limit on how long a person can use the cubicles for. Welcome to dystopian Britain. A time lock would also open and shut the toilets every morning and evening. Some questions are being raised as to how the facility's weight sensor would work. Twitter user Leah said, weight-sensitive floors to detect more than one user. What baseline weight are they using? I'm easily the weight of 2 teenagers. And what about people who need assistance? I have to go in with my kids. Very good point. You're a mum, you take the kids in, and suddenly you're being sprayed with a shower of shit or water.
Can I also point out that any couples who are obviously that full of lust and desire to have sex in a public toilet
deserve everything they get?
Well, I was about to say, may not be put off by being soaked. You know, as we know, Alex, and we've covered on this podcast, there are perverts out there. They may actually relish this opportunity.
Well, you're right, Rob, and obviously the council's thought twice about this, because an update from the Wales Online. Porthcawl robo-toilets which sprayed people with water to stop them having sex aren't being built after all. It's a huge shame because that would have been a lovely place to have gone and visited, Rob. The two of us.
It would have been. Yeah, absolutely. We could have cuddled in the toilets and then enjoyed a free shower.
Well, the new £170,000 public toilets were to have room sensors and deterrent measures, as you know, but the town council responsible says its design for robo-toilets were misinterpreted and now won't be built. Instead, the new toilets at Griffin Park in Porthcawl will be a traditional facility which is clean, accessible, regularly maintained and comply with planning and public health requirements. So, there we go. It's just going to be a regular old bog, Rob.
Can I just say that Robo-Toilets is the depressing follow-up to Robocop?
There will be clearly marked separate toilets for male and female and a unisex disabled toilet. The facility will be supported by an ongoing blah, blah, blah. Rob, do you ever use disabled toilets?
I
use them regularly.
Oh, no, well, no, I don't. I think the only time I've used them is when there's no other option.
Really? I use a disabled toilet at work. I use a disabled toilet in restaurants. I use it wherever because it's bigger and it's better. I think the state of men's public toilets is a disgrace, Rob.
Yes, I agree with that. But at the same time, I think the men who use them have a lot to answer for.
Well, that's true. Now listen, Rob. Right, this is from the Mirror, Rob. I mean, it's become a tradition now. It didn't used to be. In local anaesthetic history, we never did this. But we now have a story from the Mirror every week. You may very well have one as well.
No, I don't this week, actually, no.
Well, it's by Paul Byrne from the 16th of August. Lotto winner refused $4 million payout, hurls hot cauliflower cheese at restaurant boss.
Okay, yeah, well, it makes sense.
Now, what makes that, obviously, is hot cauliflower cheese. So, a lottery winner, in quotes, who was refused a $4 million prize by Camelot, hurled hot cauliflower cheese at a restaurant boss, a court heard.
Sorry, I mean, I know we'll come on to this, but surely, how are these two things related?
Well, we'll find out. John Ross Watson, 31, was fined £200 after he admitted assaulting and threatening Oliver Knight in July. The court heard Mr. Knight was still picking pieces of food from his ear sometime after the incident in the Star pub in Burnley. And can I just say, that's a ridiculous thing to say in a court. An absolutely farcical, ridiculous phrase to use. All he had to do was go and take a shower. He was not picking cauliflower cheese out of his ears days afterwards.
He might have been. We don't know that.
Well, Watson also shouted, swore and threw napkins.
Sorry.
Can I say? Yes, threw napkins, Rob. Now, throwing napkins is going to be this rather pathetic image, isn't it, as they come sort of flapping back at you.
Yeah, it's the most... I mean, I realised, obviously, that he must have been throwing them out of necessity. There obviously was not anything else he could have thrown, because that's just a futile endeavour.
It is. He and Mark Goodrum, 36, made headlines in April when they bought a winning £10 scratch card, but Camelot refused to pay out amid suspicions it was bought with a stolen debit card. Watson of Farnworth Bolton lost his temper at the carvery when he went for seconds to be told it wasn't an all-you-can-eat buffet. So now picture this, Rob.
Sorry, I'm lost here. Yeah, go on.
He's at a carvery and he goes up for seconds to the buffet. But it isn't, Rob, an all-you-can-eat buffet. There are no seconds.
Okay.
And he loses it.
So, hang on. Has he already been refused the payout prior to this?
Yeah. Yeah, so he's carrying around the rage internally.
Right, okay.
A court heard he demanded his money back, so Mr. Knight told a staff member to take his plate away and refund him. But Mr. Watson then began to eat vegetables off a ladle.
Well, you would, yeah, of course.
This is the story that keeps giving. Tracy Yates, prosecuting, said he got one filled with cauliflower cheese and threw it at Oliver Knight. It hit Mr. Knight in the head, around the ear. The court heard Watson turn to drinking cocaine earlier this year when his sister and her two daughters died in a murder-suicide, in quotes.
Oh my God.
What you will.
Wow.
And by the way, that was the last line of the story. No explanation, no context, no goodbye, this is the end. Just ending the story that way.
Yeah, I feel we need more.
comments, Sulip says, what a bunch of vindictive, instant judge and jury wasters there are. This guy's been accused of using a stolen card, not convicted of it. From the sound of it, he's not even been arrested from it. Although this gambling firm happily takes his money, regardless of wherever they think it came from, the moment they're called upon to pay up, they pull this story out of the air. Where's the charge sheet? Where's the arrest record? Where's the paperwork that proves the prize isn't his? And even if it really was bought with someone else's card, then that's where the prize should go, not into the pockets of a greedy bad loser of a gambling conglomerate. That sounds like it was written by him, doesn't it? Rob, can I just say, yes. Can we please have as an episode title, I'm going to petition you, because you do choose, the pockets of a greedy bad loser of a gambling conglomerate.
That is very strong, yeah. I don't think I can beat that.
SXEDD says cauliflower ear. You see what they've done there?
Very good, yes.
Capjack says he would have spent the lot in a year on He would have spent the lot in a year on drugs and booze, and then wrote a book about signing on. Probably saved his life not letting him have it. It's a cynical view of this situation.
Well, yeah.
Odeon Boy says cauliflower cheese to the head. A right hard bastard he is. What did he follow up that with? A jam roly-poly and trifle left-right combination.
Very
and
nice.
Of course, Happy Bunny says then he would have been taken into custody. I think we've had that pun on this podcast.
Let's not do this, no.
And Dolly simply says he's been on the drink for years. Him and his friends are alcoholics. So there you go. Okay, Rob, so my last story here is by David Moy from the Huffington Post. Squirrel who lost paws in trap gets prosthetic wheels. Life is rolling a little easier for Caramel the squirrel these days, spelt with a K, despite getting his front limbs caught in a trap. Caramel's paws were surgically removed after the tragedy, which happened near Batman, Turkey, according to the Turkish newspaper, the Daily Sabah. So now we've got local news, Rob, from the Daily Sabah.
Right.
Although squirrels without all their limbs have a slim chance of survival in the wild, Caramel is getting a hand from a group of animal-loving scientists at Istanbul Aydin University. Orthopedists at the university built Caramel a set of prosthetic wheels to replace the missing front paws, according to CBS News. And Caramel, Rob, is believed to be the first squirrel to be given prosthetics. Right. You must now open the link and scroll down to the first picture so you can see...
Oh my God.
Describe.
Are they taking the piss?
You describe for the listener, Rob.
Well, they've. Oh my sweet lord! Do you remember there was a craze a few years back of fingerboards? They were called miniature skateboards.
Yes.
Yeah. So, listeners, if you can imagine the front wheels off one of those miniature skateboards attached to what looks like a spine brace that is enclosed around a squirrel. That's exactly what we have.
It's basically a squirrel, Rob, whose body is wrapped in a plaster cast, its head is sticking out, and attached to the plaster cast are a couple of wheels.
Alex, I hate to say this because obviously as an animal lover, but I would have thought that squirrel would have preferred to die. Because realistically, I can't imagine his quality of life is going to be severely diminished.
Well, it will be severely diminished. I mean, look, what are squirrels like doing, Rob? Climbing trees. He can't ever climb a tree again. You can sit there and you can feed him nuts.
I mean, can you just imagine anything more pathetic than him just wandering around the floor, pushing by his back legs and wheeling himself?
Well, the other thing is, Rob, there's no escape. He can't go to Dignitas in Switzerland. He can't do fuck all. He's trapped now forever with these bloody wheels and these idiots.
I mean, I don't think he is trapped because it looks like he's just been strapped in with Velcro.
No. But he can't run off, Rob. He's got no legs.
No, that's true. Yeah. Oh my God, this is quite. I really feel for him. Yeah.
Anybody in that situation, Rob, any squirrel in that situation, Rob, would surely over time go nuts.
I mean, there's no need to make jokes about it.
Okay, Rob, you got a couple of stories for us there, I believe.
Yes, the first one is local news, I'm delighted to say. It's from the Somerset Live website. It's by Courtney Puchin and Jonathan Coles, who I think we've heard from before. The story it's a few days old. It's from the 11th of August. Now, this did get some national coverage, so you may have heard of this, but it's not really a follow-up story, but again, it's a cautionary tale. So the headline: women warned not to put melted chocolate inside their vaginas during foreplay.
No, I haven't heard of this.
Right.
Again. I don't. Okay. Surely that's just common sense. There are certain warnings you don't need to say, like don't shove a squirrel up your arse. Right? Well, or a squirrel, especially that's poor Caramel. I mean, which would be aptly named for if he was a bottom squirrel, of course.
Absolutely, and with his front legs removed, it would be ideal, really.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, you would think.
You wouldn't get the internal scratching, would you, Rob?
No, is that what it is? Is that what people want?
I don't know. I'm just saying, at least you wouldn't get that kind of injury. Although he could gnaw the insides.
Yeah, you don't want
this.
This
is getting really distressing.
Yeah. So women are being warned not to insert melted chocolate into their vaginas during foreplay. The doctor.
What? What do you mean they're being warned?
Well, it's one of those things. As you rightly say,
are we going to have this warning now on chocolate bars? Can I not buy a chocolate bar without a nice bar of dairy milk with "do not insert into vagina during foreplay"?
Yeah, chocolate is meant for anus only.
Oh God.
I'm just saying. I mean, let's face it. A chocolate bar inserted up the anus is a lovely treat.
A finger of fudge is just enough to give your kids a treat.
Again, we should emphasise that. Do you know what? I'm not going to continue that comment. Dr. Shiri Data, a consultant gynecologist from My Healthcare Clinic, has said she doesn't have a problem with couples using tasty treats to spice up their sex life. But she has warned that women could experience burns and irritation if they put food inside their genitals. Chocolate's not dangerous if it's used in intimate areas externally and not too hot, Dr. Data told the Daily Star and the Mirror. However, it is important to wash it off to minimise the risk of infection or irritation developing afterwards. I would not recommend inserting food into your vagina due to risks. The advice comes just weeks after a woman was warned about using ice lollies in a similar way to cool down. Did you hear about that?
No, tell me about what you mean. So this has nothing to do with sex. You just wanted to cool down, so I thought I'll put an ice lolly up my vagina.
Yes.
What? Wait,
Yes.
Rob, do we as a populace now deserve, and I'm talking about as a generality, I'm not talking about individuals like you and me, I'm talking about as a populace, as or even as a species, do we now deserve, do we deserve any more chances? Do we deserve anything good? If this is the level of stupidity of which we now live at?
I take your point, and unfortunately, it gets worse.
Right, what, the ice lolly story?
Well, no. So, over the last few months, women have been urged not to insert garlic, parsley, bath bombs, and cucumbers into their vaginas.
Sorry, who's putting... I'm surely that isn't a sexual part of foreplay, putting garlic up your vagina, is it? Because that would be very unpleasant.
Maybe it was attracting vampires and they were just concerned.
All right.
More worryingly, a nurse has begged ladies not to try and vacuum their periods after 2 young women were hospitalised for doing just that.
For trying to vacuum up their periods?
Yes. She claimed the women aged 19 and 23 had used a vacuum cleaner to try and suck up the blood and end their periods early.
Rob.
This is how far we've come, Alex.
Rob, what's happening here? This is a damning indictment of our education system. Surely, I don't understand. Okay,
I know. I can't really. I've got nothing in myself. I mean, it's one of those things you'd hope that common sense would prevail.
So you're telling me that Dyson vacuum cleaners and other manufacturers are going to have to put a warning label, do not use to end your period early? There
is a strong possibility that might be the case.
This should only be used for vacuuming up hot chocolate sauce out of orifices.
That's a good episode title. Anyway, I'm going to move on to my next story.
Right.
So, basically, I initially found this. I think I actually found this story when I was in Canada. and I found it on a local news source, which, having looked at the link today, it says you're out of the region, so I couldn't view the story. So I found it on NBCnews.com. It's going back, so it's from the 1st of July. Any journalist? Oh, yeah. Elijah Fieldstadt. And the headline: Woman barred from Texas Walmart after eating half a cake, refusing to pay full price.
Sorry, eating... Well, the Boris Johnson technique of wanting your cake, wanting to have your cake and eat it too. It's a bit similar to that, isn't it? So I'm going to eat half a cake. Well, did she offer to pay for half of it?
Yeah, she claims she found it that way. And so would it only...
Bollocks.
I mean, this is Walmart, to be fair. So a woman at a Walmart store in Texas who ate half a cake from the store's bakery refused to pay full price and was subsequently banned from the store. Wichita Falls Police Sergeant Howard McClue told NBC News that officers were called to the Walmart store about 8:10 p.m. on June 25th. An employee told the police that the woman had eaten half a cake and then said she was only going to pay for the remaining half, claiming that she had found it that way. The woman has not been named because the Walmart employees did not want to press charges. They simply wanted her banned from the store, McClure said.
I see. Sorry, Rob. So she's saying... She's saying, I came to the bakery and found half a cake, which I'm paying for. They're saying, no, it was a whole cake and you've eaten half of it.
Yes.
And surely there's CCTV of her eating this cake in the store.
I would believe so, yeah.
Right.
She was barred, but wasn't charged for the cake. Miss McClure said he didn't know if the woman made off with the rest of the dessert. I don't know if she got the whole cake. I don't know if she left with the other half. Just to clarify, it's nice to know. However, the woman is not the first this year to be banned. Maybe
she didn't eat it, Rob. Maybe she inserted it inside of herself.
Absolutely, Alex. A tasty treat for later. And
maybe.
The woman is not the first this year to be banned from a Walmart in Wichita Falls, a city not far from the Oklahoma border. In January, a woman was told never to return to another Walmart store in the city after... And Alex, this is just a lovely, lovely sentence. So a woman was told never to return to another Walmart in the city after spending a morning riding an electric cart around in the parking lot while guzzling wine from a Pringles can.
Was there an episode title there? Driving around an electric cart guzzling wine from a Pringles can.
Yes. A nice use of the word guzzling as well.
I mean, what would possess you to pour... You've got the wine bottle, but you've decided to pour it into a Pringles can. Almost for deliberate comedic effect.
Yeah, because I don't know. Maybe they are, but I can't imagine they'd be watertight somehow. I would have thought the bottle would have been a more effective receptacle.
Either way, Rob, once you pop, you can't stop.
Absolutely.
Now, Rob, I've got a story here which I've been holding on to for a while, believe it or not. I have to assume, Rob, that you did not read this. Because if you had, you would have without a doubt submitted it. If you did read this and didn't submit it, then your local anaesthetic antennae has died. And we won't be able to work with each other anymore.
Right.
I'm also surprised that we haven't had every listener that we have sending us this story.
They may have done, or maybe I probably missed it.
This is from Brazil, Rob. It's by Tom Phillips, who is a Latin America correspondent. From the 5th of August. Headline: Brazil gang leader dresses up as teenage daughter in jailbreak attempt. When Mexico's Shorty, the drug lord Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, made his cinematic 2015 jailbreak, it required a mile-long tunnel, a multi-million-dollar bribe, and even a private plane that whisked him to freedom on the mountains of Sonora. El Chapo's Brazilian namesake hoped to achieve the same, using just a silicone mask, a black bra, a wig, and a skin-tight t-shirt emblazoned with 3 pink donuts.
Okay.
Rob, this story is quite extraordinary. On Saturday, the Rio de Janeiro-based drug trafficker Clavino da Silva attempted to sneak out of the city's most notorious prison wearing the disguise that I have just detailed. in the hope of convincing guards he was in fact his 19-year-old daughter heading home after visiting hours. But when Silver, aka Shorty, requested the return of his daughter's ID card at the prison entrance, officers saw through his low-budget disguise and asked him to strip in front of the cameras. That video has since gone viral in Brazil and around the world. And Rob, I'm sending it to you now because seeing in this case really is believing. I would like all of our listeners right now to put into Google Brazil gang leader dresses up as teenage daughter.
I've got it here, Alex. I've got it here.
Okay, so we're gonna tell me when you're playing the video.
Okay, yeah, it's playing now. I mean, oh my god! So they're actually filming it as they're taking the costume off.
You're watching it at the same time I am. So, Rob, please, how bad does he look?
It looks terrifying. Also, how tall is he?
It's quite muscly underneath there, so that doesn't particularly help.
I'm not sure why he needed the bra. Why did you put the bra on?
I have no idea. And finally, the silicone complete head... I mean, it's one of those sort of prosthetic covers all of his head. Off it comes like a big fat condom, and there he is underneath.
That's astonishing.
Rob, this was a terrible idea. So here's what happened, right? He got his daughter to come and visit him, his real life daughter, and to bring in and basically to smuggle in this disguise, which he then put on and tried to leave the prison, just pretending he was the daughter who had just come in to visit. Now, what I can't work out is, surely this plan would have worked better with the wig, with the outfit, but just her applying makeup to him, rather than this mask, which makes him look like he's been in a horrendous traffic accident and had massive reconstructive surgery.
But Alex, the other question is, I mean, where was she going to go? Because I've been to prison. Not.
Well, yeah, you have the honey monster thing, yeah. As well as that,
my point being is they monitor people in and out of the prison.
Yeah.
So it'll be if she entered by herself and then came out with someone looking like her.
Maybe she dressed up as him and was prepared to serve his time.
I mean, this plan is flawed from beginning to end.
He's an idiot. So Silver, who's serving a 73-year sentence...
Oh my sweet lord, what did he do?
...for his involvement in the Red Command drug faction, appears to have fancied himself as Brazil's answer to Ethan Hunt, the Mission Impossible hero who uses an ultra-realistic latex mask to dupe his foes. But Brazilian headline writers said the botched breakout had more in common with the lowbrow Hollywood comedy White Chicks, in which two black FBI agents unconvincingly pose as witless white socialites. White Chicks 2 coming to cinemas soon asked the... White Chicks 2 coming to cinemas soon, asked the front page of Rio tabloid Mia Horror on Sunday, alongside a photograph of the uncloaked Clauvino and his purported female alter ego, Clauvina. The Rio newspaper, Oh Dear, was even less forgiving. Oh, aren't I a naughty girl, its headline said mockingly. But Saturday's farcical getaway was not Silver's first, Rob. In January 2013, he was one of 31 prisoners who tried, Rob, to tunnel out of the same prison complex through the sewers. 4 dirt-covered inmates were immediately recaptured, but Silver made it out alongside other gang members nicknamed Fish, Spider-Man and Sledgehammer.
Now there's a band.
Can I just say, Fish.
I mean, Alex, let's face it. I mean, if you ever wanted a band of superheroes, that's what I'd like to see. So,
Rob, he actually tunnelled out the prison, but the following month he was rearrested while attempting to seize control of a shantytown in Rio's western districts with a group of heavily armed men. If you've managed to escape from prison, you've managed to get out of your 73-year sentence, why ruin it by seizing control of a shantytown with heavily armed bandits?
Alex, this man obviously has lived a life of crime and will continue to do so. I mean, let's face it, what else are you going to do?
Reports on Monday, Rob, said the 42-year-old drug trafficker had been moved to solitary confinement but would not face extra prison time since his unsuccessful bid for freedom had not involved violence. So there you go. He can just keep trying. As long as it's not violent, he can keep trying. His daughter, Ana Gabrielle Leandro da Silva, who had remained behind in the prison as part of the ruse, seemed to have been less lucky. She will be charged with abetting prison escape, a crime punishable with up to 2 years in prison. 7 other visitors, including a pregnant woman suspected of smuggling the disguise into the jail, are also being investigated. And I have to say, Rob, was she really pregnant? Because I'm assuming she pretended to be pregnant, but what was actually in that baby bump was the said disguise.
Astonishing, Alex. That is truly astonishing.
I heard she also smuggled in some hot chocolate sauce for him, just to have a nice dessert before he made his way to freedom. Okay, Rob, it is time for our listener story of the week.
So this week it's from Amy. It's from the Derbyshire Live website. Now, Alex, we have to bear in mind that this week the story is by John Grant, who is a trainee reporter.
Oh, so we've got the boy from work experience, fresh from shaving. Let's hear it. This is his big break.
This is it. So, headline: Mouldy beans from Asda wrecked my son's 21st... What? What?
The phrase mouldy... Well, as soon as you said mouldy, I started... Mouldy beans from Asda. Yeah, and then wrecked
my son's 21st birthday meal. I mean, how bleak is that? I'm sorry. I realise people live on a budget, but... Is
she saying his 21st birthday meal comprised of a tin of Heinz baked beans?
Well, amongst other things, it wasn't just the beans. It's not actually opened the can.
Oh, was it the sausages in beans, was it?
No. It was just baked beans. But I'm assuming she was doing. Does it even say what she was cooking? I don't think it does. I think she was doing like a fry up.
Rob, do you know? When I was a kid, I questioned some of my parents' parenting, but I remember as a kid I loved the pork sausages in baked beans in a can. I loved it.
We all did, Alex. They were actually surprisingly tasty.
But why were my parents feeding me this? I also remember tinned ravioli, eating a lot of that.
Yeah, same. But Alex, it was
different
80s. Era. Yeah, it was different time. And let's face it, the reason they were so tasty is because they were just filled with preservatives and sugar.
Look at what it did to us, Rob. Just look at it. Look at us. What's it done to our minds? That's my question.
Do you know what, Alex? What's wrong with a tin of ravioli once ever so often?
No, nothing. No, not that. But I think I ate it quite a lot. And I remember eating a lot of Angel Delight butterscotch whip. Do you remember that time we had that at work together? We bought a pack.
Oh my... Do you know what? I'd legitimately forgotten about that.
And we shared it half and half. And it was unbelievable. I mean, it was like taking drugs.
I mean, let's face it. Angel Delight is just pure sugar and food colouring.
I remember we had a massive come down that afternoon. First of all, we were very, very hyper. And then we had a big come down. We both felt quite ill.
Yeah.
And that is... I would just like to clarify... Angel Delight, if you're listening, I don't think it was actually your brand. I think it was an own brand equivalent. I'm sure Angel Delight is perfectly safe to consume as part of a well-balanced diet.
Alex, I don't think that the company that makes Angel Delight has the necessary financial resources to sue us.
I think you'd be surprised, Rob. I think it's Nestle or somebody like that.
Oh, is it? Surely people aren't still eating Angel... do you know what? That I'm going to Google that.
They are. I want it now.
Angel
Give me it.
Delight. But I think the problem was when we last had it, we didn't mix it well enough. Oh my God, yeah, you can still buy it. Oh my God, Sainsbury. Waitrose sell Angel Delight.
Of course they do. It's popular with kids, Rob.
Maybe it is. You can buy tubs of it. Show me the flavours. Show me what flavours you have. There's a range. Oh, Alex, there's more flavours. So you got strawberry, butterscotch, banana. I think these are the normal ones. Chocolate. You got chocolate mint, and then you've got no added sugar strawberry flavour. So there you go. Wow.
Rob, were you reading a story about mouldy beans?
Oh shit! Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I knew I was doing something. I really fancy some Angel Delight. Anyway, right. So a Derby mum cooking a 21st birthday breakfast.
Breakfast. I see. It was a cooked breakfast.
Yes, for her son. claimed she was horrified to find a thick layer of mould inside a can of baked beans.
It happens. Right? It will happen. This kind of thing will happen occasionally. I'm hoping she had a 4-pack so she could open another one.
Alex, but this was on her son's 21st birthday. This could have ruined the entire day.
Well, only if she only had one tin of beans. And if she only had one tin of beans, then she wasn't thinking ahead.
Well, maybe this was the last one in the 4-pack. She thought, well, I'll save this for a special occasion. And then, oh, my son's birthday is coming up. We'll crack it open then. You know, some people like saving champagne or vintage bottles of wine. For her, it was a tin of Asda beans.
I'm assuming it wasn't past its sell-by date.
No, it wasn't. No. So, Sandra Munton said she was hoping to get the day off.
Sorry, her name is Sandra Munton.
Yeah. That's okay, isn't it? What's wrong with that?
It's unfortunate, I believe.
Says she was hoping to get the day off to a perfect start. But when she cracked open the Asda own brand baked beans, she was disgusted by what she saw.
Sorry, it's his 21st birthday and she's not even buying Heinz.
No, it does address that fact. It does address that.
Oh, okay.
She said, to be honest, I didn't think it was the beans at first. I thought it was something else. When I checked the label, I was shocked. There's a layer of mold on top.
What do you mean she didn't think it was the beans at first? She thought it was something else. What does that even mean? There was nothing else in the can.
No, but I think, because she's taken a picture, as you obviously do, and it's quite advanced mould. So
right, I can imagine.
It's covering the top of the bean. So I can imagine if you opened it and the label had fallen off, you might think it was tapioca or rice pudding or something like that.
Oh, I see what you mean.
The mother of 3 said she had purchased the beans, which have a use-by date of January 2021, a week or 2 ago from the Asda in Spondon. She said she will continue shopping there, but added, I'll definitely be avoiding the beans in the future. We used to buy them because we thought they tasted nicer than other brands. I might get the higher quality ones from now on. And then it says, the paper says, we've approached Asda for a comment, but there's been no response.
Well, we're not going to be sort of on the good side of the Walmart lawyers this week, because of course Walmart do own Asda,
yeah,
and that's 2 stories we've had sort of about them this week.
Now there is a few comments on this story.
Okay.
So the first one is by Helen Wilson, 46, who says, "Give up journalism, John, isn't for you."
Oh, this is a trainee.
Yes.
Oh my God! She actually put that.
Yeah. What a comment!
And the first comment, and they even left it in because they can moderate the comments on their own website. They left it under his. So now, when all his friends and family read this, they've got to see that being the first comment.
That is the first comment you come to.
Oh.
So, Wan Duko says, this is a strange comment. Whilst the adult may be attempting to be sincere in its portrayal of trauma, I'm suspicious that I doubt it ruined the offspring's birthday. This is more of his headline. Love it. So in contrast to the previous comment, it's a bit more supportive.
Yep.
Then Lara Lou 10 says, if this is so depressing to a 21-year-old on his birthday, he'll be a 40-year-old virgin before he knows it.
Yeah, very true.
And then Dusty66 says, it's a shame because he used to be full of beans before this happened.
Yes, I like that.
4USNV1983 says, happy birthday, have some beans.
I don't know why I like that.
No. Because it's just ridiculous.
Brilliant. Trainee reporter. Well, Rob, can I ask you to try and... What paper was that again?
That's a Derbyshire Live website.
Amy, can we ask you to follow his career closely? We want the stories that he reports on to see if they improve in quality, yeah?
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
Okay, Rob. Well, that brings this episode of LA Podcast to a close. We look forward with a mixture of eager anticipation yet trepidation to our next episode, which will be episode 285, Rob, as we move ever more forward. Well, like a squirrel, Rob, that's lost its legs, only to be saved from probably a blessed death, really.
Yep.
Saved from that, rather like Darth Vader was saved by the Emperor and sort of encased in an iron lung. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
It would have been, put in this sort of plaster cast, head to toe, and then some rather rudimentary wheels strapped, gaffer taped onto him. Bit of Velcro in there too. To spend the rest of his days sort of being wheeled around by two crazed scientists. Just like that, we move ever more forward to our next episode, which should be episode 285. And we can be found at our website, of course, lapodcast.net. You can download every single episode from there for free. But remember, we're also on all the podcast apps. Just search for LA Podcast. You'll find them all there. You can hit subscribe. You can download them. But, we do really appreciate your support. If anybody wants to give us a tip or set up a donation to help support this podcast, if you go to our website, there's a PayPal button there. And you can set up a one-time donation or rolling donation, whatever you would like to. We would really appreciate that. And also leave us a review wherever you can. Just try and spread the good news, Rob, about Local Anaesthetic Podcast, the good local news, in fact. And we're, of course, on Twitter at LA Podcast and Facebook at facebook.com/LA Podcast. And episodes are on Spotify as well. You want to submit us a story, you can send it to us at lapodcast.net@gmail.com. That is lapodcast.net@gmail.com. And don't worry if we don't read your story out straight away. We tend to keep a backlog going, and then we have a listener story special, don't we, Rob?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, Rob, as is a tradition, many years ago we sort of abbreviated this podcast to LA Podcast, but it is actually Local Anaesthetic Podcast. Our original slogan was your weekly dose of mind-numbing local news. Anaesthetic is a tricky word to spell, particularly the English spelling, so Rob and I like to spell it phonetically each week according to a theme. Now, I particularly enjoyed last week, Rob, which was things you take with you on holiday.
That was brilliant.
What should we have this week?
Well, I was thinking, as we've had a few supermarket-related stories, we should do things you would find in a supermarket. Now, what I would caveat that with saying that it can't be brand name. It can't be brand name items. It has to be foodstuffs or the physical furniture, like a till or something like this.
Right. Fair enough. I like it. So they can't be brand names. It has to actually be the food stuff.
Yeah, actually
sounds pretty easy
object
to me, Rob, I must say.
I mean, Alex, let's face it, we all struggle anyway, so...
No, I think this is going to be our easiest one. Okay, I will start. Avocado.
Nuts.
Apricot.
Estrogen.
No, you can't find
tablets.
Estrogen in the supermarket. No.
Okay.
Eggs.
Eggs.
Sugar.
Tampons.
What's going on with you and the interest in feminine?
I'm just conscious, Alex, that we need to make clear that you can buy tampons. Okay. You do not need to buy Hoover.
Always that hosiery aisle, isn't
nice.
there?
Eggplants.
Wow.
Oh, earbuds. No, hang on. I'll get this.
You can't think of anything beginning with E. I have to say, nor can I, but... Eclairs.
Nice, yes.
Do you know what, Rob? We had two A's earlier, and neither of us mentioned Angels Delight. Oh, because we can't mention brand names. Tea. Tea! As in the tea you drink. Yeah.
I would be... I can't say ice again. I said it's the second time in 2 weeks. Ice cream.
And I can have, for the second time in 2 weeks, crab meat. A nice tin of crab meat. Again, let's see if I can end everyone with crab meat. Of course, you could also have cod goujons.
Of course, yeah. That goes without saying.
Everyone likes a nice... Or chicken, of course. Many other things. Cream. Cod liver oil.
Cat food. Condoms.
Creme brulee. Condoms. Yeah.
Crepes.
Chips. Crisps. Cauliflower. Rob, we've deviated off from the purpose of this. Anybody
Cocktails.
Now... Rob, anybody now listening to this thinks that local anaesthetic is spelt with 10 C's at the end. Well, I need to be clear. It's not. It's just one C. Don't get it wrong. You fail whatever that exam is you're taking. Thank you for listening, everybody. We're going to be back again in a week's time. We really appreciate you listening. We appreciate your support, and we hope you appreciate Local Anaesthetic Podcast. God bless.
And keep it local.